Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Norenberc. Let's check it out. To set up for the game, each player is going to get their own little player chest with their little token here. They're going to start with 4 players in action, or 4 active merchants I should say, and then a few other ones that they can get through various ways in the game later on off the board. They're going to start off with 1 of each resource depending on how many resources there are in the game. You basically set this up to be +1 merchant per player, so in a 5-player game you'd have all 6 of these out. If it was like a 3-player game, you'd only have the first 4 out, and they're numbered, even though I don't think the houses really matter. You could play with 5 or 6, you know, just mix them up with the other ones if you wanted to. Each player is going to also have a deck of cards. They'll all be the same. They'll be symbolizing each one of the houses that are available to them. Again, if you're playing with a smaller player count, you may want to eliminate some of the cards from the deck and just have the cards from the available merchants that are out there. Each player is going to start with 1 of each good, and they're going to start with $25. The dollar denominations come in 10s, 5s, 3s, and 1s. Next, you'll make sure you have your initiative track up here. You'll have all the goods placed in their houses. Of course, you will shuffle these particular merchants or dealers, and for each house, you'll shuffle them. The game comes with several extra ones for the game, so you won't always have the same 4 out. And of course, as you see, they have different numbers out there too. And you'll put them all out, and whoever has the highest number at the end right here, so it's a 5, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5. So that's a 7, that's the highest one. You would take one of these little shields and place it in their area. This is for in-game scoring. You have a stack of 3 other shields that will go off board because this game goes 4 rounds. You're also going to be shuffling these tiles here with the backs like that and distributing them out, 3 per house. You're going to put them right up here in the the attic or the in portion of the vendor there. And then of course each vendor has their own little player shield, and you're going to stack the 4 of them right there in the outlined section there, and then you're ready to go. So on your turn, it's fairly simple about what you're going to do. Each player simultaneously is going to go through their deck here and pick the cards that they want to send these merchants out to. And they don't have to send all 4 out for that turn. They can maybe say, I'm sending 2 out this turn, and then on the next turn I'll send out the last 2. Maybe orange player is sending out, you know, all 4 of his for 1 turn. Well, if he does that, then he's out for the next turn, and blue player can place out the rest of his. Now, once that's done, everyone places their cards out for the places that they're traveling to, and they put them face down. Their other cards that they're not moving would go separately, and they put this little stamp on it to show, okay, those are the ones I'm not going to use. These are the 2 I'm using. And then you just go down the row in the house and say, okay, who's going to go see the brewer? And the orange guy goes, I'm not. And the blue player goes, yeah, I am. So he'll reveal the blue, he'll reveal his card showing that he's going to the brewer. And of course, any other players can reveal if they're going to the brewer as well. And depending on the turn order there, that's who will go first. Now, when you visit any one of these vendors, you only can do 3 things. You can, first off, you can buy some of these goods. And the cost is whoever the master apprentice is, you know, at the end. I'm not really sure what his name is, but the one here on the end. So the number on here would tell me how much that's going to be worth. The beers cost 5 right now. Now, if I see at the end of every turn, you're going to be eliminating, someone's going to be able to claim all these, and these will all shift down, and there'll be a new price for beer. As you see, the new price is 2. So if I bought at 5 right now, and then later on it only costs 2, that may be bad business. So that's something you need to look into in the game. And of course, all that, prices are going up and down for different commodities there. So anyway, you could buy, or if I had beer, I could sell the beer for that amount, whatever the amount is. So sometimes you want to buy low and sell high, of course, to make some more money in the game. Also, the other thing you're trying to do here, the third action you have, is to buy one of the people and their little ends there. And these people have certain cost on the board. It'll tell you. First, you're not filling in that first slot. Then after the first round, these will slide down and you'll fill in any extra there. The game also has a little mini expansion you can get through White Goblin Games. It's really cheap. It's just some extra, I guess guests, I should say, in guests. I haven't used this yet, but I'm definitely going to start using it because I like the variety of the different guests you can get in here. And the price to pay for that, first off, whether you're doing anything, you're buying, you're selling, or you're trying to get one of these guys in the end, you're going to take your player pawn, you're going to put him on the roof there, showing that you've already activated or sent off one of your guys there. Now, after that, if you wanted to buy one of these, I'm still talking about that third action, well, you can look at the symbol and see what it entails. So first off, if it has a star on the top, that means it's an immediate action. So upon buying this, I would get an extra man. Ooh, that's nice. I could add another merchant to my player board, and I'd have an extra action to use every round. So that'd be nice to buy. Or you have someone like this who, if he has a son, that means it's in game. At the end of the game, I'll get, for every, one 3 and above of these little merchants out there, I'm going to get an extra victory point. Ooh, that may be really good. Now, of course, there's other ones that happen at the end of every round. They have the little moon on them. At the end of every round, each player gets 3 coins. But of course, if I had this guy, I'd get 5 more coins on top of the 3 coins I have. So there's different types of people out there that either help you every round or once or at the end of the game. So you have to decide which one you want to buy. Now when you buy it, you have to pay the cost located right down here. So for instance, and it's the same for any area, wherever you go, it's whatever, this one costs 1 beer. So of course everything would cost 1 paper, 1 cloth, 1 hat, 1 boot, 1 cupcake, The second one would be a beer plus any one of these other commodities. If I wanted this one, I have a choice. I could pay 2 beer or 1 beer and 2 of any other commodities. Or 3 beer, I could pay and get this one, or I could pay 2 beer and 2 of any of these commodities. And that goes the same for anything. Whatever that base store is, they'll take that main commodity plus any others that you want to mix and match. And when you do sell them, like someone said, okay, I want to pay for this guy here. And this guy had a cupcake and he had 2 cloth. He would put them all in the cupcakes town. So he actually has cloth to pay for. So you kind of see how this game can go. So if someone else visited the cupcake guy for $3, he could pick up some cloth, and you can only buy and sell up to 3 items, I should mention as well. But he could buy 2 of these cloth for $6 and then turn around in his next turn and sell that cloth to this guy who's buying it for $5 and make, he sells it for $10, makes a $4 profit. That's kind of what you're kind of doing when you're managing your money and making sure you're getting the most bang for your buck. Now, after everyone has played out all of their people out here, and I should mention that when you do buy someone, let's say again that Blue had bought this character here. I think there's at the cupcake place. However many people are up here, they're going to get that many coins. So for instance, let's say Orange had visited this twice and Blue had bought someone there. Well, he would get 3 coins on top of whatever character he purchased there. On top of that, Blue player can move his cube up to the top initiative and slide everyone else down. So that's how you can move up the initiative track too, which is very important because you want to go first in a lot of this. Now, at the end of the round, you're going to see who has the most of each one of these commodities. And of course, ties are broken first off by whoever has the most money, and if there's still a tie, then you go to the initiative track. But after that, you see who has the most of each commodity, and whoever does, they claim the Master Apprentice for them. And as you see, this one also gives me another man if I won that one. That's what the icon means. She would claim each one. You go around the room, see who has the most of them. Now, since Paper this turn had the highest, number on him, then whoever had Paper would also receive this extra bonus shield. And again, this will come in in-game scoring. And then what you would do is you would take that shield of whoever won that for that market, they get their shield, and then whoever won the strongest of Master Apprentice would get this shield as well. Haha. Put them in there, and then of course, like I said, once all of these are picked, you would just slide them all down again and start the next round. And that's basically how the game's going to go. You're going to be buying, selling, you'll also be restocking the people who are staying at the ends as well. And of course, you're just trying to keep a majority. Once that's all done, you go 4 rounds. Then you flip your little card over and it counts as a score tracker. And then of course you use your little initial track thing and count the scores like that. And what you would do, the instructions are very simple. It'll say, hey, who has the most in each one of these, the available merchants, whoever has the most. So if someone had 10 and another person had 12, that person would receive X amount of points, and so on and so forth. Of course, these shields would also add up for extra points at the end of the game. And then, of course, anything where you have these sun people, you'd add up those bonus points. And whoever has the most bonus points at the end wins. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? Well, I forgot to mention something. The little token where you put on your stack of cards that you're not going to play for that round, if ever you want to just quit for the round, you don't want to play the rest of your people because you don't have any money and there's nothing you can do, you can always just flip it over. And especially if you run out of merchants, you can just flip it over and there's a little moon symbol and that just says you're out of the round. But other than that, this game really doesn't, it has a neat looking theme, but it really isn't about the theme. To be honest, I couldn't remember who was what, merchants, guilds, whatever. It's just an economy. You're working the market, trying to get the most of your goods while trying to keep a majority in all the goods. And it sounds easy, but it's not. There's a lot of strategy in here, and you can get lost by trying to, because one thing you're going to be hurting on, of course, is money after a while. So you're going to be wanting that money. And the first time we played, I told my friends, here's how it works. And they went out and started trying to make as much money, cashing in, buying low, selling high, and bragging about all the money they had. And then at the end of the round, I had a majority in every guild, and I killed him. It wasn't even close. We didn't even count, points at the end because it was obvious I'd won. So we laughed. Going forward, though, they're kind of getting the hang of it, but you get lost because the game is a lot of fun. Like I said, just buying and selling and buying those in-game, those in-game points. They really don't seem like that much, but you'll be thankful you got it at the end of the game. The ones that happen at the end of the round are good too, and the immediate ones. Getting more merchants. However, getting tons of merchants isn't the best gameplay. I did lose a game one time where I tried to unlock all my merchants, but then I really didn't have enough money to use them all. I didn't utilize them all. I was like, I'm kind of wasting a bunch of things here. So unless you got a big grand plan, you probably don't even need that many merchants either. The game is out of print, sadly, and I think it's a little bit expensive, but to be honest, it's just a fantastic game. I really love it. I was really surprised by it. The little mini expansion is really cheap. You can get that on White Goblin Games. I want to say it was like $5. That's with shipping, or $7 with shipping, and that was from overseas. So it was a great deal. And the game I had already had a copy. I didn't know that and went ahead and ordered it. So I have 2 copies, but I go ahead and broke them up, put them in there because you can always deal with more merchants, and those merchants are way crazy, man. But anyway, this is a fun game. Unfortunately, out of print, so therefore I cannot recommend it because it is a little bit too high right now. All right, gamers, that's all the time I have. Until next time, game on.